In this video, we're going to change the subject of the formula where the subject, in this case x, is in multiple places in the equation and it's in the numerator of two different fractions. Now, these steps here, as we've seen before, is to isolate the subject, in this case x, on one side of the equation. But before we do that, we need to get rid of any fractions in the equation. We need to have everything opened up. So the way we can do that, when we've got a subtraction of two fractions like this, is we can combine those fractions into one by subtracting fractions in the usual way. Now, the way we could subtract these fractions is to multiply the denominators. So we multiply the denominators. So I did the a multiplied by the a minus 1. Notice I've put that in brackets. And you can cross multiply the numerators. So this x here, the numerator in the first fraction, we multiply it by the a minus 1 here. So you multiply it by the a minus 1, the x gets multiplied by the a minus 1. And then in the middle there we're subtracting, so we subtract, and then this second numerator, you multiply it by this other denominator. So we multiply this cross-like fashion. So the 2x gets times by the a, it's minus 2ax, right? So you multiply the denominators and you cross-multiply the numerators, as we say. That's the quick way of doing it. So now we've got this, let's just expand out the numerator so we can simplify. So we got x times a, which is ax, x times minus 1, which is minus x. We've got the minus 2ax. And let's multiply out the denominator as well. We get a squared minus a. Now at this point, we've just got a nice single fraction. If we want to get rid of the fraction, we just multiply both sides by the denominator of this fraction. So we multiply both sides by a squared minus a. Let's do that. The y gets multiplied by a squared minus a. And multiplying the right-hand side by a squared minus a just gets rid of this a squared minus a at the bottom. So we're left with ax minus x minus 2ax. Now we might want to just tidy up a bit and expand the bracket. So expand this bracket, we'll have a squared y, and this times this is minus ay. And on the right-hand side, we could collect like terms, because can you see we've got ax minus 2 lots of ax. That will be minus 1 lot of ax. We've got minus 1 lot of ax minus x like this. At this stage, everything's out in the open, no fractions, no brackets. Great. So we can now apply these steps on the right. Step 1 is to isolate the subject, here the x terms on one side of the equation. Now, the x terms are already on one side of the equation. That's great. However, I don't like how many negative terms there are here. Like this is minus ax minus x. If you move these terms to the left-hand side, they become positive, so ax plus x. And if you move these non-x terms to the other side, this minus ay becomes positive ay. And this positive a squared y becomes negative a squared y. And that's just much cleaner because all the subject terms, the x terms, are now positive and I've got less minus symbols floating around. So we've done step 1. Step 2 is to factorize out the subject. So we factorize out the subject of x. Now x times what is ax? It's a. And x times what is plus x? It's plus 1. And then the final step is to divide. So x is being multiplied by all of a plus 1. So to get rid of the times by a plus 1, you divide both sides of the equation by a plus 1. So dividing by a plus 1 on the left just gets rid of that a plus 1. And we're going to divide the right-hand side by a plus 1 to get that. And that is the final answer because we've got x on its own on one side of the equation. We're done.